What's up, YouTube? This is Justin from Party Rental Knowledge. If you don't know, I help start party rental companies, provide them with all the information they need to get started and grow in this business because it's a fun but crazy business. So part of the thing that you need when you're growing a business is software. I'm having the three leading bounce house software companies on the show. Today we have Inflatable Office. I had ERS and BC on it before, but today is all about Inflatable Office. So I figured the two figureheads of the company right here is a good way to show off the company. So Tim, we'll bring it off with you. Give us a little bit of introduce about yourself and why you started the company and stuff like that, and we'll go into Lee.
Sure. Well, my name's Tim, and I am the founder and one of the owners of Inflatable Office Software. And I actually started back in 2004 when my wife kind of brought this inflatable adventure opportunity to me and said, hey, we do some stuff with kids at the church and the youth group, and maybe we should buy these inflatables because I rent from this guy and he's selling it. And I said, well, why don't we buy them all? And we'll just start running that little business on the side. Well, really quickly, it was way too much for me to do my engineering job as well as that business. And my wife said, you have to choose. And so oddly enough, I chose to move from engineering to inflatables because I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to build a company. And so that's what I did. And that year, I started going through his stuff, trying to figure out how it is that he's pricing people, what he's doing to make this work. And basically, it was a stack of file folders. And he said, what I do is I look through until I find one that's similar to what someone's asking about, and then I just make it close. And I thought that is the worst way to give a price ever. So I think the first thing I did was make a little spreadsheet. And then I said, I'm going to write some software because I don't want to be doing all this myself. I want people to be able to access it on the internet and so forth. And I think at that time, that was pretty new for this industry. So in 2004, I had a way for my customers from my website to get very accurate prices on our equipment and so forth. And from there, I just realized that there was a need out there for this. And I started working on the business. I think it was in 2006 that I actually formed the business. And a few years after that, I brought on Joel as my partner, and we, started going from there. And so, I did it for my own company for the most part, and it helped me tremendously. And I don't have my company anymore, my rental company. I've gotten rid of that because there's so much to do with this one that I couldn't do both. So
yeah, you're running everybody else's party rental companies back end for the most part.
Yeah.
Lee, how'd you get started with IO, man?
Yeah, so the company, Tim's rental company, back when I was in high school and college, I actually was a delivery guy for him. So, I was on the trucks, I was throwing the vinyl around, every now and then pulling the 12 to 16 hour day. But Tim was pretty strict. There was a no sleeping in the truck policy back then. So those were long days sometimes. But after that, going through college and everything, I had a lot of different sales jobs. And then, when there was an opening in Inflatable Office, I thought, well, I've already got some of the experience being on the field. I kind of know some of the issues that you can run into doing that type of stuff. And I've got some of the sales background. So it turned out to be a perfect fit right now.
So
I was actually going after you, Lee. I was trying to convince you to join in because I knew that you had such talent and that you needed a better job. So.
All right. I'm in. It's been, a little over 3 years now, and I'm loving it. As far as customer bases, you couldn't pick a better industry. I know a lot of salespeople I talk to, it's like, oh, I got another customer call, or I got to go out with the clients tonight. And I was out with Justin in Vegas, and it's like,
it's the first time I met Lee in Vegas.
Better people to sell to. It's always a good time.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty cool. Okay, so now software websites. What you guys obviously provide those. That's what you guys are doing. That's what you make your money off of. You just said you got rid of your inflatable company. So let's get into the software and the websites for the most part. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So we started primarily as rental software, and it was all about efficiency and management of your company, and that's where I saw the real need. Over time, I figured there's a million website developers out there, so you can get that done by anybody. But nobody's doing software that can handle some of the intricacies of this industry. So that's what we focused on, and we've built a really, really good product because of that. We have now. Sure.
Real quick, what are some of the intricacies of this industry, for example, that you wouldn't be able to just go use Squarespace, for example, for some of the stuff? Why would I need your software instead of just going ahead and trying to use Squarespace? What are some of the intricacies that you tackle?
Sure. Well, the first big thing is it's rental versus purchase, which is a big difference. And most software out there for e-commerce is based on purchase and tracking of inventory that you're actually selling, and it's not returning to you. So that's a big difference right there. And a lot of people think that they can use the shopping cart from GoDaddy or Wix or whatever, and it's just a poor fit. It doesn't do well at tracking availability and many other things. Beyond that, there are other rental softwares out there. They're very expensive. They're mostly built for tool companies, and they do things a lot different. They do more like multi-day, multi-month rentals. They still do a lot of stuff in store, whereas most of the people that are slinging vinyl and renting inflatables, they don't have a storefront. So there was kind of this gap, and I think that there's a number of different software companies that have been trying to fill it. We approached it mostly from a software point of view to solve those problems. Most of the other companies started on the website side, and they built a website. They took something that was more shopping cart oriented and turned it into something that would work for the industry and rental, whereas we started the other way. So we built the whole rental side of the software. Didn't want to get into websites, made it so it could integrate with any website, which it still can do. And then since we've realized that people, they don't know how to choose a developer, they don't know how to build a nice web presence, they need help with that stuff, we've now added that to what we offer. And we offer, I think, the best option you can get out there, which is WordPress, which is used by about a third of the world. It's indexed really well by Google. There's a ton of free plugins and so forth that you can add to your site, and we integrate really well with it. And we've been focusing on that, I would say, over the last 2 years, and we've made some huge strides. So I think we have some specials going on right now, Lee. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we always have, as of the beginning of this year, we always have that anybody can get a free website set up. So those would be professionally designed. They're ready for online booking. And then if you're looking into paid web development, if you hit us up, we've got some deals running on that as well into early spring there.
So the free website, you're just getting a basic stuff. You're not getting 1,000 man hours into the website or anything. You're just getting a basic, get you going, up and running site. And then if you want to put some more money, you get the crazy site. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So with the free websites, the cool thing, I mean, like I said, we've already put the time in of doing like the professional development as far as looks, making sure that you're going to have a good conversion rate. There's going to be book now, get a quote buttons pretty much everywhere, and the looks are going to be there. It just might not be custom made for your company right off the bat as far as looks go. So you could launch one of those in a day or two and be set. The paid websites are going to be when we get more into doing some specific SEO optimization for your company, and also catering, just kind of like the graphic design, the color scheme, and things like that. Customers can do that on their own with a free website because we're working with WordPress and Elementor. Those are great, easy to use tools. It's just when you're the owner of a company, it might not be a great position for you to become a part-time web developer, just so you can get something to look the way you want. So instead of having to go out and find another developer, which even though we work with them, if you want to keep it in-house, we have those services available.
That's what I like about all these software services. For the most part, this is what they tell you. They give you the option. You can go ahead and spend money somewhere else. You can do it all yourself. They just built this themselves, so obviously you can do it yourself. Some of it's harder than others. All these companies will ask your questions or answer your questions when you have a problem trying to do something. They're not going to be like, you want to do SEO on your site? Figure it out. Like, what kind of business model is that? They're all trying to help you. So if you want to do that and save some money, fine. If you want to put some money into the game, fine, because you can sell inflatables better. The option is yours. That's why I don't like when people say, it's too much work, because you have either option. And if you're thinking, why should I put some money into a website? Because it's going to make you more money. So you know what I mean? What's a bounce house and a water slide, a tent is going to make you money. But what's selling the bounce houses, water slides, and tents? So that's what a little misconception I see with a lot of different people. So some of the features you guys got, the IO phone. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, IO phone was really something that I've always dreamed of for years when I started this. And part of that is just my desire to kind of track everything, to know what's going on inside the company and so forth. But we've actually integrated with one of the top phone providers in the US, I believe. Ring Central actually uses them. Google Voice uses them, and we use them to provide our phone service. And we're using kind of like a base level API from them that we can kind of tailor to our customers and their needs. So we just released a bunch of updates with our IO phone, and it is just performing very, very well. You can have an unlimited number of numbers, incoming and outgoing. By doing this, you can port your number over to us. So if you have a business number that you're using, you can port it over. We are then able to allow you to send and receive texts through your business number. Other places say they can do texts, but generally it's not using the business number, and generally it's not incoming. I believe they can't receive the incoming side. So we can do all of that. It's all built into our software interface. So when you're working in the software, it's super simple to make a call out or to see a text or to see logs. We transcribe voicemails. It's an amazing product.
So you guys do the texting on that IO phone as well? You can do text marketing and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Well? And we actually have, I like to say that we are probably the most, I like to say we are the most advanced software just because I know the different softwares that are out there. We're the only software that lets you set up your own automation. So you can say, I want any customer who lives in this zip code that has the last name of whatever, who has once rented a slide to get a text, at this time. We can do crazy stuff like that. So you can set up all sorts of things to make it so that you're capitalizing on all of your leads as best as possible, and you're marketing to your customers as best as possible.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think text sales is definitely the future. I did a video topic on it with Tariq about it with his Event Hawk stuff. I think that's definitely, if you don't want to do that stuff, you can definitely text somebody off here manually. Tariq's, his stuff does it within the first 5 minutes. I'm sure you guys probably set it up. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to set something in the future to combat that as well.
Well, actually, we work with Tariq on that a little bit. So the reason why Tariq got into some of that stuff is because he uses our product as well.
Yeah.
And we wrote some things because we have an API. We actually wrote it to work with Zapier. And he's using that integration whenever you have an IO account. Now, he's also doing stuff for other people that don't use IO. But when you have an IO account, it's even more beautiful. It brings everything directly into your IO account and tracks everything. You don't have to transfer any data.
So you're saying instead of opening the app, you can talk to people in the IO app or the data? As far as like phone numbers and stuff like that goes, you don't transfer from Event Hawk into like ERS.
Yeah, that's right. So any lead he's gathering, it gets pushed into our system if you're one of our users, which is really convenient because you can have additional automated things that occur. But yeah, we talked to him before and said, yeah, Tariq, we love you. We're going to help you and we want to see you do well. But, we did tell him, these are some of the things you're doing are things that will be coming as we integrate our software and website.
It's inevitable, but there's other processing companies. There's other software companies. So credit card processing. I'm getting a feedback from one of you guys. It's gone now. Credit card processing.
Lee, you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah. So one of the big advantages with our company is that we don't have any sort of like exclusive partnerships with any credit card companies. We're not owned by a credit card company, which you'll find you're going to see it more and more. That's just pretty much the name of the software game, is that credit card companies are just scooping up software companies pretty much for their customer list. So we are still independently owned, and we actually work with 8 different processors right now. So you've got your big ones like Square, PayPal, Authorize.net, which opens you up to thousands of different merchant accounts. And then, we just started something up with Dave Lush and Josh Woolley. So we're doing Card Connect with them. We also have a great partnership with Global Payments. That opens our customers up to a lot of really cool features to where we can do scheduled and automated payments as well, being able to issue refunds direct from the software. But all the features and bells and whistles aside, really our goal with everything, whether it be the design of the software or your website or your credit card processors, is we always want to make sure our customers have as much freedom and flexibility as possible. Because as much as we would like to guide people into what we feel is the best solution, especially in this industry, everybody wants to do their own thing. And just having that choice we feel is really important for our customers. So that's kind of the approach we've had to take with that.
It's the same approach I try to take on this channel. Like and subscribe, just because I don't want people to sit in here. That's why I have you on here. That's why I have ERS on here. That's why I have different companies. I'm going to try and get Good Shuffle and Point of Rental on here. Mm-hmm. They're not bounce house ones, but they're still rental softwares. And this isn't just a bounce house channel. This is a party rental channel. Tents, tables, chairs, linens, yard signs, all kinds of weird stuff. It's a big party. Everybody's invited. So that's the type of stuff I like. I like free range. Some companies, their motto is, listen, we did the due diligence. We've been doing all the work for a year. We want you to do this. This is how we do our business. And they put you down that route. And then that necessarily doesn't mean it's a bad route. It doesn't necessarily different. Like I told you guys before you guys got on, I know people that have Inflatable Office and ERS in their company at the same time. So let's not even get into all that crazy stuff, because just the reason I bring you guys on here is to show different providers and give you people different options and different choices. So we'll get into some more stuff. I can't read my handwriting.
Yeah, I guess let me kind of go off of that for a minute.
Go ahead.
I think that's one of the things that we've done a lot of work on, is trying to make sure that our software is more customizable than any other software. Now, part of that is just so that we could attract as many people as possible to it.
Yes.
But I do really, I'm a big libertarian, and I do really love that people have the freedom of choice and choice to do it however they want, whatever way they want. So that's a huge thing for us. So you're not going to find another software that's more customizable. If you have a dream, something that you would like to try, usually we're only a step or two away from allowing you to do that, because we've built so much and it's so customizable. From our templates to our API to just all sorts of things. And honestly, some people have found that made it a little difficult to use at times, which we've just kind of solved that issue over the last couple of years as we built our new Office Upgrade site. So it's a new version that we've had it live for a year now, over a year, and it makes everything even more simple to use. So while we still have all those advanced features, we're kind of tucking them away in certain spots and making them easier to understand. So you're just not going to find a more customizable software. And I like the fact that, and we've been saying this for years, like, try all the softwares, do demos with them, because we know that if you check us out and compare us to other people, you're going to see a really big difference. The interface looks different. It looks more professional. It looks more modern. There's just so much more you can do with it. The fact that we're using WordPress as opposed to a proprietary web platform, that's a really big deal.
Yeah, I know for a fact a lot of people that say, like, because there's two people that get into this industry. You've either were like Lee, you were doing bounce houses with somebody, or B, like Tim, you have a business brain and you saw bounce houses and got into it, but you never did bounce houses before. So that's how everybody gets in. But the thing is, if you're a website developer, if you have experience with website building, I would recommend IO, because that's what I hear. Everybody that I've spoken to that is a website developer, like Tariq, you know what I mean? He's like, listen, I just can't do cookie cutter because I want just weird, like, I just want something weird. And if they can't do it, they just say no. And that's perfectly their preference. Me, I have ERS, but eventually I'm probably going to have both in IO. I'm already talking with you guys. You already know. Because like I said, having both solves different problems and different solutions. I like the cookie cutterness. but I also like customization. So what are you gonna do? It's all up to you. But the most important thing you could possibly do is do your due diligence and figure it out what everyone's offering and what they're doing. Because you're gonna learn different tricks to put on your website, which is awesome. Learning different features and stuff like that. And two, you're going to figure out what's best for your budget. And everybody likes saving money. Everybody likes putting their money to the best value to what they want to achieve. So, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to show you guys the people out here. So what are some unique features brought to the table? I figured out what I wrote.
Sure. One of the things that we recently put out, which has been really cool and we've seen a great response from, is our review collection and rating collection stuff. So it used to be that we always sent everything through an internal system, a survey system that you can build, a customer satisfaction survey, find out what they think of you, give you a star rating, give you a review, and then all that can be pushed up onto your website. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is all really good stuff. But people really need to get a lot of Google reviews, a lot of Facebook reviews, or whatever else. And so what we've done is we've built a system to where now when they get that email, there's 5 stars there. And depending upon the star they click, you can send them to wherever you want. So if they give you a higher rating, like a 4 or 5 stars, you can say, I want you to randomly send them to one of these places like Google, Facebook, Yelp, whatever it is I want to get my reviews. And you can even weight that. So like if you have a ton of Facebook reviews, but only a few Google, you can say, I want to send 3 times more people to Google than I do to Facebook right now because I want to catch up on my reviews. And anything that's lower than that, you can have them go directly into the internal reviews. You're immediately getting feedback because you just have a single click. So every person that you do a job with, you're going to get some sort of rating, even if they don't do the review.
Here's how I would set that up. That's actually amazing. And I just thinking of that, you speaking it, and this goes back to my point, looking at the different features and figure out how they can benefit you. If I were to do that, I would send everybody at 5 stars to Google, so you can get that 5. At 4 and 3, send them to Facebook because that's a recommendation. It's not a star anymore. But you don't want to send them a 3 or 4 to Google.
Yeah.
So that's smart as hell. And if it's at 1, you want to send to your phone number because you want to figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that's how I would set it up. Is that how you guys set it up?
Well, we give you the freedom to set it up how you want. So yeah, you can do it that way if you want.
Was that what you guys would? That's true. Would you recommend doing it that way? That's the way I see the best way going. You know what I mean? Because if you don't want to hit them 3 or 4s on Google, but
right, we generally
3 or 4s are a positive review on Facebook.
Yeah, well, we generally tell people 4 and 5s on Google and Facebook, and anything that's public like that. Everything else, send it to the internal system so you can deal with it. Now, we still think it's good to send some 4s and 5s through that internal system because if you're posting that up on your website, you want content to post up. And none of our stuff automatically goes up. You have to say, yes, I like this one. I want that to show. So you still get that opportunity to kind of filter.
Yeah, I like that. Dave has this one. I don't even know what add-on or whatever it is to your site, Dave Barnes, and it's like he's like, oh, it sends the bad reviews there too. I'm like, dude, I don't want that. Like, I just don't want it. He's like, oh, but it makes it more real. I'm just like, I don't want it. You know what I mean? Okay, maybe a 3 star or stuff like that, but I want to choose because there's some. Listen, I wouldn't recommend anybody putting any bad review I've left on Google. So I don't want anybody else's on my thing randomly. Yeah. So that's how I would say. What are some other unique features?
You've also seen times where people will click 1 star and they think that's like the top review, and they're actually giving a worse review, and it's just accidental. So that doing these things enables you to kind of prevent that from happening.
That's interesting, actually. I haven't seen that happen. But there's the same people. It's aggressive, man. Because I would say they hit 5 stars. They think 4 stars is great because nobody deserves 5. There is no 100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's weird people would think, but those reviews, they matter for the most part. I'm going to wrap this up, everybody. If you like this, there's going to be some links in the description. Check out IO, give them a contact. Check out these videos if you want to see some more.
Great. Thanks for having us on. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, man.
No problem. If I can ever get this out. Bye, everybody. Have a happy new year.